Yeah, so let's get started. Hi everyone. So my name is Sudhir in Visualpath. So this is my actual name. So I've hold this particular experience of 11 plus in this IT industry, and I've been working in this containerization technology like Docker, Kubernetes, OpenShift, all these particular environments from past 7 plus years. So these are the certifications which I'm holding from Azure Cloud. That is Microsoft certification like Azure DevOps Engineer and Azure Developer. So if you need any help in the certification or if you're planning for it, so please let me know. I will try to provide some guidance on that as well. Okay. So this is my quick introduction of what I am. And let's go back to the actual session. So before starting with it, what is this course content? What are the topics we have to learn? How come it is different from DevOps and DevSecOps and all? Let's talk about few basic fundamentals. Does anyone know what is information technology? To brush up ourselves, Uh, does anyone know what is information technology is all about? Anything that you know. So no need to file any shy that what other people will think and all. Just let me know what you know. That's all.
Yeah, securing the information uh, which is available
Okay.
and providing the access which is relevant to the people. So there might be different people working on different environments or data. So we need to secure what content they need to access.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Any other answers?
Information
Yeah.
technology is generally computer systems, softwares, security, etc.
Yeah. So to keep it simple, any medium that stores the data, that transfers the data is an information technology, right? Your mobile phones, satellites, TVs, computers, PCs, laptops, all these are called as even IoT devices. Nowadays in fans also you can see, right? I can operate the fan by using remote control. Those are like IoT devices. Okay. So all these comes under information technology, right? See, these are like fundamentals. I just want to brush up why we are get like intended to get a job in the IT industry. If I don't know what is IT, then there is no point of getting a job, right? So that's the reason I'm just trying to brush up the fundamentals. So the next question is, does anyone know what is a website? Website.
Yeah, Google website.
Yeah, website
No,
or
I'm not talking
the
about
page.
Google or Facebook, whatever it is. Just what is meant by website? When you call it as a website.
Yeah, developing different pages and organizing them and linking one by one or as per the
Yeah.
hierarchy.
So group of pages developed by using programming language is called as a website, right? So website is a
Yes.
combination of pages, home page, contact us page, gallery page, okay, and many other things, right? All these are called as together, it is called as a website, right? Now, what is meant by operating system? You are using a daily basis operating system, right? You are using Android, you are using
Yeah.
iOS, you are using Windows.
Operating system is a software which will interact with the kernel and the hardware.
Okay,
Hardware and software combination.
hardware. Okay.
Yeah.
So operating system is a mediator between me, my human being, and the computer devices, hardware, right? So that is the
Yeah.
purpose why we are using actually an operating system. Apart from this, we can do many other things. But right now, the major purpose of operating system is to interact with the hardware because hardware can understand only binary language. As a human being, I cannot understand what is binary language, right? So I need a mediator or a translator between us to convey my information. That is nothing but operating system, right? What is next? Network. Does anyone know what is a network?
The network is a connectivity between computers.
Yeah, devices. Okay. So if you want to connect your devices together, that is called as one network. At your home, you are using network, right? You are connecting all your mobile devices, smart TVs, laptops, PCs, and all. That is your network. Okay, network at your home, right? Next one. What is internet then? You told what is a network. Then what is internet?
Internet is nothing but connecting different networks and sharing the information over the web.
Yeah, connecting the devices over the geographical location is called as internet. Okay, you can frame it as per your convenience. But the actual meaning is I want to connect one network to another network over the geographical location. It is called as internet. Geographical location in the sense what? You are sitting somewhere in Canada, I am sitting somewhere in India, one person is sitting somewhere in UK. So all of us are able to talk to each other on GoToMeeting, right? How is that possible? Because of internet. Okay? Yeah. If we don't have internet, we can't do anything. We cannot communicate with each other. The final one is what is cloud computing? The one why we are learning Azure. So what is cloud computing? Any answers to it?
Yeah. So
Hosted.
cloud is nothing but a group of, not a group. So cloud we can tell as a place where the data centers and everything are being hosted, and it is given to the users over the internet, so that people can start using without any interruptions.
Okay. Yeah. Any other answers? Anyone? See, tell me
Hosted
whatever
over
you
the
want.
internet.
Sorry, Siva.
Hosted over the internet.
Um, okay. Let me keep it simple. Providing the compute resource over the internet is called as cloud computing. A simple way to understand. Providing the compute resource. Compute resource in the sense what? Hardware, network, storage, all this compute, all this comes under computing. Okay. So providing the computing resource, compute resource, we call it as compute resource over the internet is called as cloud computing. For example, you have internet service provider at your home, like ActFiber, Geo, Airtel. What they are doing for you, they are providing internet at your home. They are service providers. Even your cloud computing like Azure, AWS, Oracle Cloud, IBM Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, GCP Cloud. What are these? These are cloud computing services, or you can say cloud computing providers. They are providing compute resource to you over the internet. Just you have to pay only for what you have used. That is a major benefit what we have in cloud computing. Okay, so these are like fundamentals. In order to learn this course, you understood, right? We will be coming from basics. To explain that, I have told you this particular, I've asked you this kind of simple questions. Okay, most of the people doesn't know about this, but we are using on daily basis. You understood, right? We are using it, but we don't know what is it. Okay, so always we need to know what is it, how to use it, how to fix it. These are the three things what we need to learn if you want to survive in IT industry. So these are like fundamentals which I want to teach. Okay. Now let's see what is the course that we are going to learn and what is the syllabus. Okay. Now as part of Azure DevSecOps, okay, first we need to complete our prerequisites. Whether you are a developer, whether you are a tester, whether you are a operation team, whether you are a DevOps team, DevSecOps team, whatever it is. I'm coming from different role, but we need to know how to use an operating system. If I don't know how to use an operating system, I can't execute anything. If I'm a programmer, if I don't know how to use operating system, how I will execute a program, right? So that is a valid question, right? So we need to learn about operating system. That too, you are using a profile as DevSecOps. So definitely we have to learn about operating system. Now the question for everyone is which operating system I have to learn? Do I need to learn Windows? Do I need to learn Unix? Do I need to learn Linux? Or do I need to learn Mac? Mac and Windows, sorry, Mac and Windows is not widely used by many of the organizations for their applications, right? Or a software. The most widely used, so the most widely used operating system is nothing but Linux. Why I will tell you. Do you know single user, single task operating system, multi-user, single user multitask, multi-user multitask? These are the types of operating systems we have. Single user, single task in the sense what? Only one user can log in and he can run only one application at a time. For example, if I'm opening a browser, I cannot play any games. I cannot watch any movie. So single user, single task. What is the next operating system they developed? Single user multitask. Single user multitask in the sense what? One user can log in, but he can run a number of applications like Windows. Okay, I can run a number of applications. I can play the movie. I can watch the videos. I can play some games. At a time, I can do the parallel task. That is called as single user multitask. Then the final one is nothing but multi-user multitask. Multi-user, multitask in the sense what? All you guys can log into that system at a time and you can run your own application whatever you want, right? So that is called as multi-user, multitask. Linux comes under multi-user, multitask. That's the reason it became more popular. That is the first reason. Second reason is nothing but it is open source. Everybody can download at free of cost and you can develop your own operating system if you know C, C++ languages. But we are not concerned about it. Linux is an open source. Everybody can download and use it. Okay. So these are the two major reasons and it is secure. By default, Linux operating systems are secured from firewall. That by default, they're having some inbuilt firewall. Okay. So they'll block the unnecessary packets and the DDoS attacks. All this will be. So Linux operating system is by default secure. Okay, so these are the three major factors why we are going for Linux operating system. Now the next question which everybody will have is which Linux operating system have to use. How we have in Windows, Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 7 and all. Similar to that in Linux we have many flavors. Red Hat, Debian flavor, OpenSUSE, Fedora, Ubuntu, Debian, many things. In that we will be using Linux with Ubuntu operating system. So we will be using Ubuntu operating system. Why? Because the most widely used Linux operating system is Red Hat and then Ubuntu. After that, CentOS. So these are the priorities what we have. So you might think that do I need to learn all these operating systems? Impossible, right? For a human being, it is not possible to learn all the flavors, right? We need to learn at least one Linux operating system. If I need to go to Red Hat, I need to purchase a license key. If I need to full-fledged use Red Hat operating system, I need to purchase a license key. Okay, so I need to spend some charges. Instead of that, if I want to learn Linux operating system, there is an open source and which is most widely used by many of the organizations because of its stability and the development. That one is nothing but Ubuntu operating system. Okay, so in this particular course, first I will be teaching Ubuntu operating system, how to install, how what are the commands we have to use. Okay, how to use operating system, package management, user management, disk management, almost similar to administration. Not the pure administration that we are learning because it is not necessary for us. As a DevOps engineer, I need to know how to use an operating system, but I don't want to do any administrative task. Okay, for that reason, we'll be learning the fundamentals of Ubuntu operating system. That is one of the Linux operating system. And in that, we should not use any desktop version. We have to use only server. Desktop in the sense what? GUI, like your Windows operating system, where we can use mouse and keyboard. What is the server edition? We can't use a mouse. Okay, and we have to use only keyboard. What is this mouse and keyboard called technically in computer? They are called some devices. What are those devices called?
Input. Input.
Input devices. Yeah, exactly. So those are called as input devices. Means if I need to talk to operating system, I have to type something or I have to click something. Who will do that particular job? My mouse or a keyboard. What is output device?
Monitor, which we can
Monitor or a
real
terminal. Yeah, monitor or a terminal. These are called as output devices, right? Operating system will do the task in between them. Okay. So in Ubuntu, we will be using only server edition, not desktop. Why? Because in real-time projects, we don't use any desktop versions. Even in Windows as well. We have Windows Server 2022, Windows Server 2019. All these are server versions, not desktop. Okay. So here also we will be using server edition. And in Ubuntu, we will be using even numbers because those are long-term support. Long-term support in the sense what? If they release a version under LTS, that version will be provided as support for 10 years. Until 10 years, I don't need to worry about upgrading the operating system. That is the advantage what I have. So what is the advantage for administrator if I use these kind of operating systems? Until 10 years, I don't need to upgrade my operating system. For you, it is just an upgrading, right? But in the backend, we need to test our applications as well. Will it work in the latest version or not? So we have to do all these things. Okay, if the code breaks or not, if the code will work fine or not, I have to do all this testing. If you for every year, if you have a new release, will you do this kind of job every year? That is a headache, right? For administrator and for development team for automation as well. Okay, so you have to choose an operating system which will provide you longer support or larger time. That is nothing but Ubuntu LTS, long-term support. Okay. After learning this operating system, and one more point, you no need to worry about how to install it, where to install it. I will tell you from scratch, because some people are coming from Linux background, some people are coming from non-IT background, some people are coming from a different background. Nobody is related, right? You are working, you want to start your career on this particular DevSecOps on Azure Cloud. So you have to learn from fundamentals. So this course is all about someone who doesn't know anything about operating system, information technology, anything. From there, we are starting this course. Okay. Some people might feel bored if you already know that particular topic, but yet we have to teach even one person doesn't know the topic. Okay. And then shell scripting. After completing this operating system, we'll be using shell scripting. Remember, it is not a programming language. It is called as scripting. Scripting is different, or programming language is different. By using programming language, you will develop a software. By using scripting, we don't develop a software. We'll simplify the task of the operating system, like PowerShell, Bash shell in Linux. In Windows, it is called as PowerShell. Okay, what these shells will do, this will interact with your operating system to do the task on behalf of you. Okay, so when I teach about shell scripting, you will understand more. For now, just understand that programming is different, shell scripting is different. So if you want to automate your task in the Linux operating system, we have to learn about shell scripting. Okay. So remember, we are not teaching any programming language in this course. We are teaching only scripting. Okay. After completing this particular fundamentals, then we have to enter into Azure Cloud. In Azure Cloud, what are the administrative services we have to learn? I'll list out one by one. We'll discuss that later. What is this? Okay. Now, if I say also, you not understand. But let me list down all the topics that we are going to discuss under Azure Cloud. Microsoft Entra ID. Earlier it is called as Azure Active Directory, AAD. Now it is renamed to Microsoft Entra ID. Recently they have changed it. Maybe 6 months back or 7 or 8 months back. They recently changed the name. Earlier it is my Azure Active Directory. Now it is called as Microsoft Entra ID. And then we have to learn virtual machines, virtual network, load balancing, Azure disks, Azure files. These comes under storages. Azure Blob Storage, Azure Disk, Azure File, Azure Blob. These comes under storage. Okay, and Azure Tables as well. All these particular four comes under storage. Then the containerization technology. You might talk to your relative or someone might suggested you this course, right? So they might have suggested you to learn containerization technology like Docker and Kubernetes. So as part of that, in Azure, we'll be learning container instances, container apps, container registry, and then Kubernetes service. These are the four services that you have to concentrate more. Your 100% effort has to be on this particular four services. You have to concentrate more and more. Okay. Why I'm saying you this because sorry, yeah. Why I'm saying you this because this is so important. Nowadays, everybody in organization or in the interview, they're asking you about this particular topic. So definitely we have to learn this particular containerization technology, where it is a Docker and Kubernetes. Now, after completing this, we have to learn monitoring. Because you are running all your services in Azure Cloud, I have to monitor them. So why we have to use a monitoring tool? I have to know how much resource is utilized by your service, and how if there are any issues, I need to track them. I need to fix them. I need to use for analysis purpose as well. So for that, we need to monitor. So we need to monitor all the services in Azure Cloud. So who will do that particular job? In Azure, we have a service called Azure Monitor. So this particular service will monitor all the services in Azure, and it is a centralized dashboard. So we don't need to go to individual service and monitor the service. In a centralized dashboard, we can see all the services related status, whether it is healthy or not. Do we have any logs? Do we have any issues? All the things we can monitor from the centralized dashboard called Azure Monitor. And then we will be using Azure CDN, Content Delivery Network. Nowadays, you might have seen content delivery network is like IoT, Internet over Things. Does anyone know what is that? IoT, IoT platforms, Internet over Things. Any best example for it? You are using on daily basis
Netflix,
at
Amazon
your
Prime.
home. Those are not IoT. Yeah, you can say it is IoT. Yeah. But tell me one simple example. Fans. Nowadays you are seeing, right? Even fans can be controlled through remote. Is it possible?
Yes,
It
yes.
is possible. So what is that? IoT, Internet over Things. You are connecting your devices through Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, right? So those are called as Internet over Things. Okay. So that if you want to manage in Azure, that is called as Content Delivery Network. Okay. And then Web Application Firewall. As part of security, you have to concentrate more on Web Application Firewall. So what are the traffic that I want to allow? What are the traffic I want to send? I can control that by using this particular service. And then Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So this is also so important for DevSecOps engineer as part of security. So Microsoft Defender for Cloud means I want to protect my services from attacks. What are those attacks? DDoS attacks, vulnerability, phishing, all this. So this particular Microsoft Defender can give you some suggestions as well. Don't do like this, enable this one, disable this one, configure like this, don't configure like this. What are those called? Suggestions. Technically, we have to call it as recommendations. So those recommendations will be given by Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And not only Azure Cloud, we can manage AWS Cloud, GCP Cloud, and third-party services as well. That is the advantage of we having this particular service. By using this service, I can manage any cloud for a security purpose. Okay, which is so important. I will tell you how we need to learn this. And then we have virtual machine skill set, and then we have Azure DNS. So these are the major services that we are going to discuss as part of Azure administration. After Azure administration, what we need to learn? I told you Docker and Kubernetes, right? Okay, sorry. There is ARM templates as well and databases, SQL. So we have to learn that as well. I forgot to tell this new services. We need to learn ARM templates and Azure SQL. ARM template, I would say don't concentrate too much on ARM template. You can concentrate more on Terraform. I'll tell you that particular tool name. So Terraform, okay? And SQL database, which is called as relational database, we have to learn, okay? Now, all these are administrative services of Azure Cloud. After this, I told you, we have to learn Docker and Kubernetes, right? What? Just a second,
Uh,
please.
uh, so these are coming to the services
Yeah,
on the administration side. If you take Azure Monitor,
yeah.
you said that will monitor each and every means even the
Metrics, logs, everything.
right, events, logs, everything, right? Even the file.
Yes, yes.
For example, disk size
And you
just
can set some alarm as well. You can set some alarm, you can set some notification. We can even do that. For example, I cannot sit in front of the system, right? All the time. Though my job is to monitor, but I cannot sit all the time in front of the system. Then immediately there is an issue. I need to get a notification to my mobile as SMS notification or email notification and all. We can even configure that.
gotcha. But do we ever need a third-party tool like SolarWinds something to be
You know,
added?
we are using third-party tool for Docker and Kubernetes that is called as Prometheus and Grafana. I'll be teaching it. Okay. Yeah. For
No,
example,
my
I'll
question
tell you
was
this one.
generally, does company ever go to the third-party tools, or do they
Depends.
satisfy with the
For example, if your Azure service is giving you all the requirements for your company is looking for, then they don't go for any third party. If I need to go to third party, there are two options. One is enterprise version, one is community edition. Enterprise edition in the sense what I have to purchase a license key. Okay. And community edition in the sense what open source. Everybody can use it. Okay. So it all depends. If my budget, see, it all depends upon the client budget, right? If you say that if a client will say one requirement, okay, let's say client told me one requirement, I'll tell him that these are the options what we have in Azure Cloud. We don't have it. We have to go for third party. Then I will give him overview. Like you have to purchase this tool and all. This is open source. This is enterprise and all. That is R&D what we do, right? And R&D will come up with a solution. Now in the solution, I'll explain all the options. So then client has to take a decision whether I have to go for enterprise version or a community edition. Okay, this is what happens in the backend. Okay,
in the services? Don't we have the Azure backup too?
yeah, we have backup services. We
Okay,
have it. That comes more of migration, right? That's the reason why. Okay, that comes under disaster recovery, all these things. And some services which are not listed here, I'll be teaching it. Though I am not listed here, I'll be teaching a lot of services. Under virtual network only, we have so many topics. Private network, private endpoint. Okay. Then we have web application firewall, other topic as well. There are many things that we have to discuss here. Okay.
Okay.
Peering connections, transit gateway kind of options. We have many things here. I listed out only the basic services. Under that, we have some services as well. Okay. Now, after that, as I told you, I am keep on saying it, Docker and Kubernetes is so important for your career. Whether you are a DevOps engineer, a DevSecOps engineer, whether you are a developer, tester, if your organization is running your applications on container, then you have to learn it. Okay, so that's the reason we are concentrating more on Docker and Kubernetes. This is the list of topics that we are going to discuss. You may not understand now, but anyway, this is getting recorded, and this recorded video will share it to you, right? So you can talk to your relatives, someone is working in IT industry. You can take a suggestion from them or a feedback from them. Is that really important? So they told me that Docker and Kubernetes is important. Ask them whether it is really important or not. Then you'll get some confidence, right? So that is what you have to take a suggestions. Every time your decision may not be correct or wrong, right? You have to take a suggestions as well. Then final decision is yours. Okay. So as per my experience in IT industry, I know that how important is Docker and Kubernetes. So you have to concentrate more on this. And these are the topics which I'm going to discuss in detail. Okay.
Yes,
And finally,
so
after completing this, yeah,
yeah, ultimately, Docker and Kubernetes are very, very important because I have
yes,
10 years of experience in IT, and I
yeah.
was dealing with AWS DevOps currently.
Yeah, then you know the importance of Docker and Kubernetes. Nowadays, every
Yes,
company is running their applications on a continuous technology because it has a lot of features. The advantage of that
yes,
is, see, initially we think it might be complex, but once you start entering into it, there are so many interesting topics in it. You will understand the major benefit of that containerization technology. Yes, there are slight drawbacks. I'm not saying that the tool is perfect. It also has some drawbacks. Those are negligible drawbacks. Okay.
yeah. In the market compared to other tools, the Docker plays a very vital role, important role.
Docker and
So
Kubernetes, especially.
yeah, yeah,
Docker nowadays, why we are using Docker? Because to build our custom images. That is the main thing that we have to concentrate. Ultimately, you might be running your application on Kubernetes. Okay.
yeah. Even we run the application on Kubernetes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
Eh,
Kubernetes depends. If you have more applications, then only we have to go for Kubernetes. If you have less applications, we no need to go for Kubernetes. Why? Because charges, billing. Ultimately, the ultimate goal is what? Billing, right? Okay. For
yeah,
example, you have internet service at your home. It is my choice whether to go for 100 Mbps or 200 Mbps or 300 Mbps. It all depends upon my usage. According to that, I will go for the plan. And the plan will change according to the option what I've selected. Same applies to
yeah,
the cloud as well. See, it is not a rocket science, guys. Simple to learn. The only thing is we have to understand and we have to practice. If you're not able to understand, you can let me know. I'll repeat the topic. Practice, it is your job, your responsibility. If you want to get an IT job, obviously you have to practice. If one person is practicing 1 hour to learn the topic, you might need 2 hours or 3 hours, but you have to spend. See, we will struggle only for 3 months or 4 months, right? After that, if you once you get a job in the IT industry, you have to continue that and you have to sustain it. That's the only thing what you have to take care. Okay, the struggle is only once you for entering into the IT industry. Once you enter, everything will be fine if you handle it properly. Okay, so this course will be for 2.5 months, every day 1 hour, daily basis. Timing will be almost 7 to 9, 7 to 8 morning time IST, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. IST. I'll talk about that at the end of the session. Let me continue with my next topics. Yeah. So let us see what are the DevOps services that we have to learn. First, I will list out the DevOps services. Then I will list the security services. Okay. Azure is really, say that I'm interested in Azure because of its DevOps services. None of the cloud provider is providing you those many functionalities in DevOps. For that, we have to give, let's say that is a major advantage of Azure cloud. I'm not talking about services. Services, there are a lot of drawbacks. Okay. The way we use the portal, the way we use the service, I see a lot of drawbacks when you compare with AWS. But when you look at DevOps services, right, no one is providing you this type of services and functionality. With my experience, what I'm saying. Okay. What are those DevOps services in Azure Cloud? Azure Repos, that is nothing but Git. Okay. And then Azure Pipeline, CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment. And then Azure Artifacts. We will come to know what is artifacts later. It is a kind of repository, okay, to store your packages, to store your images, to store your files as well. Any kind of format files we can store. That's the reason technically it is called as artifact. Okay, and then Azure boards. For example, if you work in IT industry, how will you distribute the work to your team members in the organization? By using the tickets. We call it as technically stories, Jira stories and all. That particular tool, without using third-party tool, Azure itself is providing you some particular dashboard. Those are called as Azure boards, where we can create some bugs, stories, epic, many things. Okay, for that you need to know what is Scrum model, Agile model. I have to explain that. What is our software development life cycle? I need to explain that. Then only you will understand what is Azure boards. Okay, and then we have to learn about Microsoft Defender for containers and Microsoft Defender for Kubernetes. These are also the two important services in DevOps that we have to integrate. But the major services in DevOps are Azure Repos, Azure Pipelines, Azure Artifacts, and Azure Boards. Azure Test Plans I'm not teaching. Why? Because test plans is for testers, not for us. Okay, so that's the reason I'm not teaching Azure Test Plans. Okay, we are concentrating only on 4 services in Azure DevOps. Azure Repos, Azure Pipelines, Azure Artifacts, and Azure Boards. Okay, after completing this, the next thing that we have to learn is non Azure Cloud Services. What are those? Prometheus and Grafana for Kubernetes. I told you that we have to learn about Kubernetes, which is so important. I will keep it so simple so that everybody can understand. When you deploy your applications on Kubernetes platform, I have to monitor them. The applications which are running on the Kubernetes cluster have to monitor, and I have to say check how much CPU is utilized by one application, how much memory is utilized, what is the CPU utilization of the node, what is the memory utilization of the node. All these things have to capture. Who will capture that information? Prometheus. Prometheus will capture the metrics. What is Grafana then? Grafana is a dashboard, visualization dashboard, because Prometheus doesn't have any proper dashboard to visualize the output. So to show you the output of the Prometheus, we are using Grafana. So Grafana is a visualization tool, okay, for Prometheus. Okay, together it is a monitoring tool that we are using for Kubernetes. And then we'll be using Git. As I told you, we'll be learning Azure Repos, right? As part of that only, we will be using Git, version control system. And then Ansible. So we have to learn about configuration management tool, CM. What is CM full form? Configuration management. So what is a configuration management tool that we are learning? Ansible. Ansible is most widely used by administrators. For example, as an administrator, you need to manage a lot of servers in your organization. Now, if I want to deploy something on all the servers, let's say you are handling almost, let's say 100 servers. Okay. On 100 servers, will you install the package one by one? It will take hours together or days together. Instead of that, if I use Ansible, Ansible will do the job on behalf of me. It will log into the system and it will install the package and then it will log out. That is an automation tool. Ansible is one of the automation tool under configuration management. Okay. And then we have to learn about Terraform. This is also so important for your career. After Docker and Kubernetes, Terraform is a priority one for you to concentrate more. Okay. So Terraform comes under infrastructure as a code tool. Infrastructure as a code tool. Initially, when I'm using Azure, right, I'll be showing you how to use Azure or how to create a resource on Azure Cloud manually. Once you know how to create it manually, what is Azure services, how to manage it, then we have to do some automation. So all the resources which I want to manage on Azure Cloud, I have to manage through Terraform automation tool. Okay. So that's the reason why Terraform is most widely used by many of the organizations. And one more benefit of Terraform is if I learn Terraform, I can manage AWS, I can manage GCP, I can manage Azure, I can manage IBM Cloud, Alibaba Cloud, Azure, Oracle Cloud, many providers. That is the advantage of learning Terraform. If I learn ARM templates of Azure, I can use only for Azure Cloud. Can I use it for AWS? For AWS, we have to learn Cloud Formation template. So every provider has its own templates, but the common tool is nothing but Terraform. That's the reason it became more popular because of its integration and management. Okay. After completing this, we have to learn SonarQube, which comes under security. Okay. Why we have to learn SonarQube? Because as a developer, I will write a code. What is that code called? As a developer, you will write a code, right? That code is called as what? It is a compiled code or raw code? Is it called as source code or compiled code?
It's a raw code.
Source code. Yeah, technically we can call it as source code. When you compile the code, compiling in the sense what? When you compile the code, what will happen?
Create a
So
jar or
what?
war file.
Yeah,
Binary. Technically, we have to
bin-
call it as binary. Right?
binaries
So
will be
you will
created.
convert your raw code into binary. Right? That conversion will be done. So before doing that conversion, I want to know what are the bugs I have in my code. Do you have any bugs in the code? Do you have any vulnerabilities in the code? Do you have any duplicates in the code? Or do you have any code smells in the code? I need to identify them. Let's say even you might ask a question, your developer will review it, right? No. Why? Because as a senior developer, I have many jobs, many tasks. I have so many developers under my team. So will I read each and every line of code that you have written? No, right? Even though I'm a senior developer, I cannot do that job. So instead of me doing the job, instead of me scanning the static code, means the raw code, or we can call it a source code, I'll be using SonarQube. So what SonarQube will do? SonarQube will scan your code, the raw code what you have written, and then finally it will generate a report. In that report, you can see how many bugs we have, how many code smells we have, how many issues we have, vulnerabilities we have. All these things it will let you know. So based on that, you can send your report to the developer. Developer will try to fix it. So it is a continuous cycle. Okay, in the software development. After this, we need to learn Python, but Python is optional. We are not going to discuss in this course. Okay, for whom it is needed, if you want to add some relevant experience greater than 5 years and all, for them, this Python is mandate. So though it is mandate, we are not teaching in this course, but we will provide you some access to the Python videos. If you want, you can learn it. Okay, by watching that particular videos. But all other topics, what I've listed right now, I'll be teaching it from scratch. I'm the only person who will be teaching it from scratch for this entire course. The course duration is for 2.5 months. You have seen the syllabus right now. So based on this particular topics I need to cover, it will take 2.5 months, daily 1 hour. Okay. Almost it will be 7 to 9, sorry, 7 to 8 morning in IST. Okay. If you have any concerns with the timings and fees and all, you can talk to the Visualpath. I'm not the right person. I'll be answering only technical questions. Okay. Now, after completing this, security tools. I told you, right, we have to discuss some security tools as well as DevSecOps engineer. What are those? Privy, Docker security using CIS benchmarking, Kubebench, and then Kubelinter. So these are the most widely used security tools for Docker and Kubernetes. We'll be concentrating on this one as part of security. You'll understand the importance of this particular security later. See, if you want to learn only DevOps, don't concentrate more on this particular tools. Simple. If you want to learn only DevOps services, don't concentrate more on this particular tools. Okay. You can concentrate only on the tools what is necessary. If you want to be a DevSecOps engineer, you have to concentrate on this. Now, what is meant by security scanning? Means you have to find out the loopholes, what you have in your infrastructure, software, application, and all. So who will do that particular job? Security team. What security team will use? Some tools. These are the tools. Now, these particular tools we have to integrate it to the DevOps. That's the reason it is called as DevSecOps. Integrating security to the DevOps in the sense what we have to automate this in the CI/CD pipeline. Okay, we should not execute them manually. As part of the deployment process or development process, we have to do the scanning as well. Okay, so that's the reason why it is called as the team name is called as DevSecOps engineers. Okay, for them this is the course. If you want to learn only DevOps, ignore this particular tools. Okay, This course is for DevOps and DevSecOps team as well. Together it is. That's how we have designed it. And finally, these are the Azure services that we have to integrate. Finally, this is like architecture that we have to implement to deploy your applications on the Kubernetes cluster by implementing all the security services as a DevSecOps engineer. Okay, this is a simple architecture. I will explain this. And what is next? Okay, I learned all the services what I've told. Okay, then what is your next path? The next path is DevOps roadmap. As per this particular roadmap, if you see, I'm teaching all the services, at least one. Understand this is one category. Servers is one category, administration is one category, servers is one category, CI/CD, cloud, monitoring and logging, infrastructure as a code, network and security, and programming language. From all this, you can see we need to learn at least one tool. In server administration, what we are learning, Linux operating system. In a servers or web servers, what we are learning, Apache or Nginx. In caching, what we are learning, Redis. Database, we are learning SQL. Either it could be MySQL or PostgreSQL. After that, CI/CD. We are using Azure pipelines. We are using Azure pipelines, though it is not listed here. We are using Azure pipelines. Then cloud, what we are learning, Azure cloud. And monitoring and logging, what we are learning, Prometheus and Grafana. And for logging, we will be using ELK. Under infrastructure as a code, what we are learning, Ansible, Docker, Kubernetes, and Terraform. And under networking and security, I'll be teaching all the fundamentals of networking. So we have to learn about class, what is IP, what is IPv4, what is IPv6, what is classes we have like class A, class B, class C, class D, class E, what is a subnet, what is an IP address, okay, what is a gateway, what is broadcast, what is a router, what is a switch, what is a hub. These are network fundamentals. I'll be teaching that as well. Don't imagine that this is a responsibility of a network team. Though it is a responsibility of the network team, as a DevOps engineer or DevSecOps engineer, we need to have some basic understanding on networking. If you don't have a basic understanding on a networking, you cannot explain what is the issue, what is your requirement to the network team, right? For that reason, we have to learn that. Okay, so this is our roadmap. Means if I want to be a DevOps engineer, what are the services and what are the topics I have to cover? Okay, then after doing this, what is your designation after learning this course? Either you can call it as Azure Solution Architect or Azure DevOps Engineer or Cloud DevSecOps Engineer. You can put in your resume like Cloud DevSecOps Engineer. Okay, so any one of the role you can apply it. Okay, if you're learning only DevOps, you're not learning the security tool from this particular course, you can call it as DevSecOps, means Azure DevOps Engineer. Or you can call it as, if you're learning only administrative services in Azure, then you can call it as Azure Solution Architect. Let us say, from this course, I don't want to learn DevOps. I want to learn only administrative services. Then your role will be Azure Solution Architect. If you want to learn DevOps as well, Azure DevOps Engineer. Okay, and this is the exam code, AZ400, AZ300. Then if you want to have the combination of DevOps and security, then you will be called as Cloud DevSecOps Engineer. Okay, this is the role what you can add in your resume. Okay, then this is my GitHub link. Okay, and this is my YouTube channel. If you want to watch my way of teaching, okay, my explanation is whether you're able to understand or not, you can go to this particular YouTube channel and you can search for my sample videos. Okay, then what I recommend everyone is try to join for the course for at least for 2 to 3 days. Listen to the class. Look at my way of teaching. If you are interested, then only join the course. Nor else not necessary. Okay, because ultimate goal is you have to be comfortable with my way of teaching and the topics what I'm trying to explain. Okay, and the sentence what I'm using, you have to catch it and you have to know what I'm teaching. Okay, so I cannot explain in any other language. I have to use English because from here onwards only we have to learn the technical terms. Those technical terms you have to use it in the interview or when you're talking to a person. Okay, let us work hard from here itself. So this is my official email address. If you want to post anything or if you want to contact me, you can contact on this particular email address. And this is our live application, what we are going to deploy as part of the project. Live application. It is our Visualpath application. Let me show you. This is our live application. It is not a dummy. Let me show you. So we have many applications like this. ktsengineers.com. and you can see DevOps Online Hub. All these applications are managed by me. Okay, in Visualpath. I'm taking care of deployment. So I'm working as a cloud architect in Visualpath. So I'm taking care of all these applications deployment. Okay. Right now, these applications are running on AWS cloud, but I'll be showing you how to deploy it on Azure cloud. Okay. So these are our live applications. You can add this live application, the topic what we learned in the resume. That is one project. It is not a simple thing. It is a live project. Okay. So this particular live project, I'll be teaching it, how it is built, what is the code they have used. See, we don't need to worry about the program what they have used. They are using Node.js. Okay. They are using Node mean stack, mean, MERN. By using mean stack, they are developed this particular application. Okay. So let us not consider, let us not worry too much about this. Live applications, tasks, everything I will take care of. Okay. The only thing needed from your side is nothing but practice. If you don't practice right, you will never understand what I'm teaching. Because every topic is linked to another topic. Everything will get recorded. Recorded videos will be given in the portal. That portal access will be given to you. If you are not able to join the class, you can watch the recording and you can come up with the questions. Instead of waiting for the next day, we'll be creating a WhatsApp group. Okay. And all you guys will be added to the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions while you are practicing, you can ping me on the WhatsApp group. Okay. So someone will respond for your issues, what you're facing. Okay. So this is all about our Azure DevSecOps course. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Sudhir,
Your career related, anything.
uh, yeah, are
Yeah,
you going to
Sandeep.
teach OpenShift?
OpenShift, no, it becomes too complex. I'm already teaching AKS, right? Azure Kubernetes Service. OpenShift, I cannot teach.
Okay, so can I get any?
But I would say, if you are learning Kubernetes, the platform could change. Only few functionalities will get changed, but ultimately it is a Kubernetes OpenShift. But it is Red Hat.
Yes,
That's all. But
yeah,
Kubernetes is a Kubernetes.
we have OpenShift in our current project.
There you will be using OC commands. Here we will be using kubectl commands. That's the difference.
CDL.
But I would say if you run Kubernetes here, managing OC is not a big deal for you.
Yeah. Just I need simple guidance in
Yeah, I
terms
can
of
provide you the guidance. No need to worry. I have my friend also who is working on OpenShift. If you want, I can type with you. Okay.
sure, sure, Sudhir.
Any other question, guys? Any career related or anything that you want to? See, please don't hesitate because no one knows who is what. You can don't feel any shy. You can unmute and you can ask your questions. Okay. Any not only here in demo I'm talking, not talking about it. In the courses as well. The classes what I'm teaching, right? Don't feel shy that what this person will think, what he will think about me and all. Okay.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, Anuj.
Like, what phase of the DevOps, like we implement this security tools actually?
Yes,
When
by
we are
using this security tool, right, we'll identify the issues what we have in the infrastructure, the code that you have written, or the application. That's a major goal. And then automate them. See, manually we don't run them. So after learning that manually, we have to automate by using Azure pipelines, right? That is a final goal for us. Any questions, guys?
When it comes to the services, if you take the database administration or database service,
Yes.
uh, why we need to learn SQL or MySQL? Because there could be many databases, right?
Yeah. See, thing is, there are two parts here. One is relational database, one is non-relational database. Okay. As an administrator, okay, I know how to create a database, I know how to create a joins, queries, and all, but I don't know how to create a MySQL server on Azure Cloud. Who will do that particular job? Administrator. Understood?
Okay, so we're saying creating the database, etc.
Creating, no, creating the server, installing the database server, that is our responsibility. After creating that, developer administrator will take the responsibility of how to log into it, how to create a database, how to give the permissions, how to create a tables, how to insert the data. It is his responsibility. Understood?
So you are going to show how to create one or two database. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, some dummy data and all these things. But I'll not teach you queries and all. That is not our syllabus, right? So it is not a pure administration of MySQL or database.
Sudhir, I have one small question.
Yeah, name.
Since 20 years, I'm in IT field. 10 years, I work as a infrastructure support engineer, managing the
Support
Windows
engineer. Infrastructure.
support engineer, infrastructure support. So I was managing
Okay.
the Active Directory, DNS, Exchange
Okay.
servers. And after that 10
Okay.
years, now I'm working as an enterprise storage administrator, supporting to US
Storage
clients.
administrator.
So
Okay.
storage,
Any third party
like
or any cloud?
no, those are on-premises enterprise storage, Hitachi, EMC, NetApp,
I
Pure.
see.
Those are not ISCSI FC, mostly on SAN
Oh, I
and
see.
few on NAS and SAN.
Okay. NAS and
So
SAN. Okay. Okay.
SAN. So 10 years I have worked and there's a very big organization. I'm managing around 10 petabytes of data. Now my company is
Okay.
moving most of our workload to the cloud. So
Yes.
all of them,
True.
like we are going with the Azure and also with GCP and as well as
Huh?
AWS. So my role,
Yes.
my management is there to move better to cloud to have some
Yeah.
good exposure. And so in the
Yeah. Means
implementation
you
part,
need to have in
now
and out. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
so now whether for me having so much experience, better to go with the DevOps this field or whether to have some other module in the Azure. What is your suggestion? I need you, Pooja.
My suggestion would be if you learn only storage related, your career is all about storage and this one, right? If you learn only that services, right? Tomorrow, if there is a recession or something else, for example, I'm saying, okay, you are fitted only to this particular area, right? I don't have
Right,
flexibility to move you to another role, right?
right,
So to overcome that particular challenges, better we be in a proper position now itself. So I would say go for DevOps and DevSecOps. You're anyway you have a knowledge on this particular storage. That storage services you will be learning here. Apart from that, you're learning DevOps as well, right? You can switch your career whenever you want.
okay. After 20 years of experience, if I go to DevSecOps,
See,
will
your
I get the
relevant
same
experience
package
is
or it
different, right? Relevant experience is different, right? That's how we have to calculate. See, company always will calculate total experience, relevant experience, right? When you have a
right,
total experience on 20, but you don't have
right,
experience on DevOps, right?
right. I'm fresher.
You're relevant.
Right.
So you're starting from zero. To be frank, you're
Right.
starting from zero, relevant experience. That matters. Okay.
Okay, okay. So will it be easy? Like with how much time do you think that we need to spend time to have a good experience or good practice on this?
See, if you need to understand any topic without looking into the notes, you have to be in a position to understand it. That's where we have to practice. Until I be in that position, you have to keep on practice. Some people they might complete in one day, or maybe they take 2 hours or 3 hours. Depends upon the speed of our grasping, right? I cannot tell that
Okay,
okay, everybody will complete in 2 hours. I cannot say that. I cannot commit that. It all depends upon how you grasp it. Every person has a different mindset of grasping, right? That's the reason.
so we
But the
have
only
free
thing
labs
is
for this.
everybody has to practice what are the tasks I give and what are the topics I'm teaching. Someone should not hesitate in asking the questions if you are not understood. Straight away you have
Oh,
to say that please repeat that and all.
okay, thank you, Sudhir. No, I'm clear.
Yeah. Any other questions? I hope this demo is clear for you. And if you have any questions, guys, they will intimate you when this course will start and all. According to that, we can join the session. And if you have any further questions after discussing with your family members, relatives on IT, and then you can come up with the questions, what you have. Okay. So that's all
So,
for
Sudhir,
today. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Anil.
so class will be from Monday to Saturday or Monday to Friday?
Monday to Saturday. Thank you. Thank you all.